Hello, everyone. It's James Strong. Today, we're going to be talking about Ingress NGINX, which means it is a CNCF project, and we have to adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct, which means be kind to each other. If you have any issues, please report those to me or Ricardo or anyone on the SIG networking leads. So today, let's go ahead and get started. As always, as fun as I was talking before we started recording, I have meetings back to back on Thursdays, so I wasn't able to go start looking at any of the triage meetings, but I saw some new faces, or at least faces I haven't seen before. So if anybody would like to introduce themselves, their connection with the project, or what they'd like to get out of helping with the project or being on the meeting, feel free to go ahead and talk about yourself now.
I'll start. Hi, I'm Nat. I recently joined the project maybe 2 weeks ago. And I'm a computer engineering major at UCSC, and I want to learn more about networks. And this was one of the projects that needed help.
Well, Nat, thank you for joining. Yes, we're always looking for new contributors and folks to help out with. And there's lots from code to documentation to testing. We're doing a lot of testing lately. Okay.
Welcome.
I think that was it. Unless anyone else wanted to, anything else they wanted to announce or discuss before we get started? No?
I just have, I would like to, if we have time at the end, I have an answer to Long's question from a few weeks back, and then, or a few meetings back, I guess now. And then I also wouldn't mind getting any kind of initial thoughts on if anybody had the chance to look at the agent release, or the, sorry, my brain is.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's
Yeah.
that kind of day.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. Well, let's stick to the meeting agenda schedule, but okay. I agree. We definitely should talk about it. I was getting ready to start talking about it, and I was like, no, we've got to stick to the schedule.
Yeah, that's why I said if we have time at the end. So
I have a bad habit of just going off the agenda, but I want to make sure that we get to work through some of the issue triage, because we've not been so great at that. So anyway, let's go ahead and just dive right in. I'll try to keep track of the time and discuss. Before we just start going through, are there any pertinent issues that anyone knows that we need to look at? Anything that's been brought up in the Slack channel before we just dive into the ordered list that we have?
I'm trying to remember. I think someone poked me about something today, but or this week or last week, but I forgot.
Okay.
I will take a look into the ones that are assigned to me.
Which there are numerous.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I have like 6 assigned to me, and I haven't looked at them. I did want to talk about this first one right here by this crazy guy. So right before the meeting, Gentile accepted my pull request. So now every issue is going to show up with no status on the project board. And we can start using the project board, and hopefully we can get a little bit smarter about like dropping these into specific like needs triage based off labels. Right now, I just have it dropping everything into no status. And so we can start using the project board here and being a little bit smarter and maybe a little bit cleaner instead of just using the issue search functionality. We can test it out. Let's see if we like it, if we hate it, and just start seeing what gets populated. I was going to start moving the kind ones or needs triage, because I've been doing some testing with GitHub project management and Go, and just dump them all into here, and we can just start getting better about using projects. So that's what this issue actually is. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. I'll go ahead and close that, but I just wanted to let people see what that looked like.
If it's helpful, I can chip in on how setting up the projects. That's probably one of my favorite features in GitHub is the project management stuff. So
That would actually be really helpful because I'm learning all of this. So setting up the
Fair enough.
project views and things like that. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about that asynchronously or towards the end, and just like
Yeah.
what view you want to see and things like that, the swim lanes.
yeah,
and go
definitely.
from-
And I figure, I mean, I can help with the framework, but as far as you know, what takes precedence and what goes where, I would definitely need help on that one.
Yeah, I think right now we're really just looking at just trying to stay on top of the issues.
Makes
And
sense.
just work on that. Yeah. Because right now we just do top down. And as we can see, we got 155 open. I know we're not going to get through all of them. That's insane. That's not, but at least make sure that we're making a good faith effort. Because I feel like after our talk, the last couple months, we've not made a good faith effort to work through the triage issues. So let's go ahead and get started. We've already got an open tracing issue. You guys see that okay? Do I need to zoom in?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Sorry, I'm an old guy. I need my big text.
It's all good. Isan, do you want me to assign this to you? It looks like it's just a documentation update.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What is it just
SQL ES
Go ahead.
ESI. Yeah,
Yeah.
SQL. Yeah, that one.
SN is curious that now with any open telemetry, open tracing stuff that appears, we are just gonna assign that to you.
I haven't read through the documentation or tested it, so but yeah.
It's like in SIG-Network, every time something Ingress appears, they just like automatically assign to me and say, yeah, 3 agents in someone else.
Unfortunately, that's what happens. Support host names as the key consistent hashing to upstream. So we haven't discussed this, but this is a feature, and I was gonna change the link to remove features since we're still not accepting new features yet, and we just want to treat as actual issues. Anybody disagree?
I think you mean removing? Yeah. I was gonna ask you
just-
to focus on the bug stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just focus on support and bug issues.
Yeah.
There's been a trend, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, of cloud controllers having issues. I've seen a lot of AWS and EKS issues, or AKS issues, so a lot of AWS and Azure issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna assign this one directly to me. Because I know this
isn't ELB deprecated.
it's not deprecated. You can still use it, and I don't know if we of the myriad ways that we can deploy Ingress, which one sets it up to use classical or ALB or NLBs.
Okay.
But I'm going to group these up because there's been a lot of them, and I don't know if it's disparate ones or things like that. Also, I saw some documentation because I was reading through it the other day for AWS. Those blog posts don't get updated with newer versions. I saw a blog post with like version 0.30. Anyway, let's go to our first actual issue. I'll drop this in the chat so this can pull it up so I don't have to just read my screen.
I think
Maybe not.
I think I'm reading this one, and to be honest, I had never touched this part of the code before doing the split. But this is kind of like this TCP proxy works on some weird way. But when endpoints of the proxy TCP change, yeah, yeah, you can assign this one to me. I'm gonna need to touch this TCP part. Probably that's the next thing that I'm touching for the split control plane and data plane. So I can take a look into that, because usually so the drift, the configuration change, drift detection, what it does, it just verify if some endpoint, like it gets the whole structure configuration, and it removes endpoint certificates and things that are dynamic, and it verifies, hey, is this structure different or not? So if it's different, it's gonna trigger the full reload, right? So maybe something when you do some change on the TCP endpoint, maybe something like a comment or even a strange object changes on NGINX on the config on the structure, and then it triggers the full reload, right? So assign that one to me, James. I won't promise that I will take a look into this. So if someone else actually wants to look at that as well, I can help you taking a look into the piece of the code specifically that does that. Otherwise, I can just take a look in like sometime.
So clarify this for me. An endpoint changes, it's gonna cause a reload.
It
Right?
shouldn't. So on HTTP, it doesn't, right? The problem that I don't know and I need to verify, sorry, it's that, so it doesn't reload because we sent to Lua and we sent to the Lua map on the backend.
That's right. Yeah, Lua tracks all that for
Yeah,
us.
but I don't know if this TCP proxy part. I remember that there is a proxy inside the controller that does some TCP proxy. I can't remember if this is just for SSL pass-through, if this is the TCP port-to-port proxy or something like that, right? So I need to take a look into that. But it probably reloads because something in this part changes, right? Yeah.
Okay.
If this thing is not on TCP on Lua, probably my and like TCP proxy doesn't need a lot of logics from that we have on the Lua balancer, etc. So I would just try to make this load balancing with NJS in this case, just like to test the feature. Yeah, okay, let's do it with JavaScript, right?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay. I assigned this one. Let me reload. I assigned that one to myself, but it's still going to show up. We can review it, or I can just skip and go to the next one. Mod security CRS. That's fun.
I don't want to touch anything on mod security.
I don't think you should be accessing /.env. Mod security return a 403 when.
I think that this person is actually trying to trigger something on mod security, and it's failing. So that's like a rule that should be blocking, and it's not. And probably this is just a missing configuration on mod security, or mod security it's not behaving fine on NGINX. So if someone wanna take a look into mod security, because usually this is okay. So this is actually something that you need to change on mod security core rules, right? So we need to verify how these rules they are getting loaded and configure those to make the block, not only to load the rules but make the block.
We just download the default OWASP set because I remember that from the build script. So I don't think we do any special configuration on those rules, but you should be able to provide your own, shouldn't you?
Yeah, you should. The thing is that in sec, I guess in mod security snippet in sec rule engine, maybe you need to add some specific rules saying block, not just inspect, but block. Like the default action, it's a block. I'm trying to remember. If you wanna go forward, move forward with the issues, and as soon as I find something, I will post.
Yeah. I would like to know a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and I'll look at this. I'll add it to my backlog. I've gotten better at adding time to my calendar to make sure I'm reviewing issues. I'll also, right, while we're thinking about it, I'm just gonna point him to where those rules get placed. Where's that at? It's in the build script. Build.sh.
Yeah, it is on the build.sh.
In the engine, it's in the NGINX build.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Images.
You were there. Yeah, yeah. No, that's on the.
It's in here. This build script.
Is it?
Yeah. This is where, because we download a repo and then just install them. I just want to point them in the right direction of like what the rules are that we're installing. Okay. NGINX installation issue with liveness and readiness probes. Another Azure issue. This is not very
Can you
well
open the?
formatted.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm just reading.
Newest issue. That's good.
Okay. So the person is saying. Okay, so that's not up to us. This person is saying that there is some OPA rule saying that it should be deployed with readiness and liveness probe, and probably the webhooks they don't have, and it's fine that they don't have.
Oh,
so
they said that they're using. It says that they're using the cloud deploy.
For this one, we don't need to do anything else.
Need to do a what?
Yeah. We don't need. Nothing to do.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is. I mean, we would need them to. I mean, this is easily solve. Say it's not our issue if they just dump out just give us a description of the pod and it has liveness and readiness probes and they're there. So I don't know what they're expecting.
yeah, hold on. Yeah, so so I think that the problem. So they are saying that changing the deploy works, right? So if they can say what changing in the deploy works for them, we can see what changes works for them. We can take a look if it does make sense or not. But this seems something like a conformance policy from Azure saying every deployment and every pod should have readiness and liveness probe, which is something that we cannot. It's again the same problem that we had with previous other cloud deployments. Like there was one Yandex, I guess, or some of those that needed like the port names to have some specific value instead of being generic. So it's going to be hard if we keep needing to change everything to support each of them, right? if they can say, hey, this is what is missing, we can just take a look and see, okay, this makes sense or not. We don't have liveness probe and the readiness probe for nothing other than the controller. Probably what's failing for them is the webhooks.
Well, the
deployment of
webhooks, don't the webhooks just talk to the controller as well?
they are just a job.
Oh, these
They are a
ones.
job that runs to generate the certificates and then it dies.
Yeah.
Right, but if
Oh,
you take a look into ours, you're gonna see that the liveness and the readiness probe, they exist for the controller, right? So, yeah, I don't think it does make sense to have this on a job, but because the job it's actually gonna be a short-lived thing, so it's gonna run and then it's gonna die, right?
yeah, they don't tell us which one it is.
Yeah, so take a look. They say why this problem the deployment using the base then successfully
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's a
making
webhook.
bit changes.
Patch job.
So what are the changes, right?
There was an issue with Ingress. So I don't think there's an issue here.
Yeah, neither do I.
But we'll wait to see.
Well, we should get his policy first. We
Yeah,
don't
we'll wait
know.
to see
We
about
don't
it.
know the policy content.
Okay. It needs information. I can never remember. The bot will yell at me. Okay, it is needs information. Okay. Alrighty. Retry loop on keep alive connection to upstream servers.
Sorry, what's the title of this one?
Retry loop on keep alive connection to upstream servers. It's 9332.
Oh, this is cool. Do a trade proxy net upstream, so it tries and then return. Is this configurable? I'm not sure.
Open.
Controller.
Install an upstream service. So it's testing out with NGINX /die.
Nice.
Service on / returns a 200 and an endpoint /die returns an empty reply. Where's their we need to see their ingress object. Yeah, where's their ingress object?
Is it?
I don't
think
see
it
their
was down. Ingress NGINX
upgrade.
YAML file for the config. Replica cluster.
This is yeah.
Hold on. What's this service? What's this thing? Replica account service ingress.
Cluster
Server
IP. They're
block.
creating a service.
What? I've never seen this.
Yeah, they're not. There's no
It's
ingress
format.
object. So of course there's going to be an empty reply because that's well, it should be. It should go to the default. There's no
but I
ingress
mean,
object.
what? Hold on, James. What Helm chart is this one?
Oh, he's
Bitnami
just
version
creating.
13.
This is the he's just creating a service.
Ah, okay. Got it. Okay, I see.
But there's no ingress object to tell Ingress NGINX to track it.
I think this Helm chart is creating it. If it's part of the value, ingress enable true hostname blah annotation blah server block something. It seems to be part of this Helm chart.
I think, yeah, but he's not telling Ingress NGINX to track the NGINX service. So I think it was a misunderstanding about how Ingress works with services. Because he creates a cluster IP service, but he's not creating an ingress object to tell it to track it. but he's still trying to use it. So I'll ask. Oh, I should have labeled that as needs more information. We're about 30. So it's about 15 minutes. Who wants to talk about their stabilization project work first? Ricardo or me? I vote Ricardo. I'd like to hear about how the DPCP split's going. I mean, I see that the tests are getting, you're passing more and more tests.
Yeah, and it's getting harder to pass the tests. So last time from the almost 400 tests that we have, only 20 were problematic, but those are been like some blocking tests. So one example, I figured out that when you use the annotation for authentication for basic auth, the controller writes in that moment and actually this may be a vulnerability as well in the future that we need to take care. But the file with the authentication got written in a file at that moment. It never gets sent to the template config or something like that. So I never get this thing on the data plane, this thing that never had a chance to get into the data plane. So I will start looking into that this weekend to make sure that I can put those secrets as part of the reconciliation. And maybe one thing that I would do, and it's probably going to be a breaking change, it's that the secret should contain a specific label. So we won't need to send all of the annotations to the backend, right? All of the secrets to the backend, but just the secrets that are specifically marked as like authentication secret. So it's something that I would need to work on the authentication side. The other thing, so if you take a look into that, like all of the ones that are marked as auth or no auth, they are problems with this test. So they are probably 5 or 6 of those. And 2 or 3 of them are proxy SSL / TCP services. That it's the other part of the code that I told that I would touch and see how it works now, right? Some things they are disabled on the data plane, like open tracing and other things that generate templates. So as soon as I can get rid of at least like the authentication part of the TCP service proxy part, I would say, okay, we can do an alpha release on that, ask people to test on that, let them know that this is not production ready because we don't have authentication between control plane and the data plane yet, and then start working on this wire layer, working specifically on the gRPC layer. So adding compression, adding load balancing, turning the keep alive and turning the keep alive configurable, turning all of those things configurable from the Helm chart, because today they are kind of hard coded. A good thing is that during one of those tests, I figured out that I was testing the when a control plane dies, I was testing it wrong, so it never gets updated again. The data plane should be restarted when it works, and this is fixed now. So at least this high availability stuff, and keep testing to see if the control plane is available or not, it's working. So the next steps, they are going to be more like adding all of the authentication layers, and maybe having some more complicated tests, like killing the control plane and seeing if the data plane is still working, then and enabling the control plane again and seeing if everything is the way that it should be, everything is working the way that it should be. Nothing gets dead during this moment. I am a bit worried about performance. I didn't test that yet, but that's something that I would need some help to see if we create a bunch of ingresses at once, or if we create a bunch of secrets at once, or if some backend, like some endpoint, is in crash loopback or keeps changing. How will this impact into this communication between control plane and data plane? Because today we don't do a Delta configuration. It's always a huge package with everything running. I didn't have time to make this logic on like getting just the endpoints or getting something, getting other things. I have on my mind how to do that and split, like when it's something from just endpoints and something that's the full configuration. But to be honest, I don't think it's going to be part of this release.
Well, I mean, it
At
could be
least in
part
the
of the
short
alpha
term.
release, and as we get more feedback from folks before we go
Yeah.
GA. So we should probably sit down and think about a list of things that we need to do to be confident we can GA this. We can do that in a separate meeting if you wanted to schedule some time.
Yeah, I would like to do that. Yeah, sure. Because I know that there is some expectation on this, and to be honest, I think that the main problem about security is going to be solved, but we are going to figure out that some other things, they may be not working. I'm even willing to, if there is some blocking stuff that we cannot solve in a short term, to leave it out of the release. Say, hey, we don't support GYP, as an example. GYP, I didn't test it yet, but I've seen that it's failing. Or like TCP services, TCP proxy, it's not working right now, when we are going to work on a future release. And even ask people, hey, people, you prefer gateway API or you prefer TCP services to be supported on this split control plane and data plane? Because it's going to be hard to work on both. Yeah. Okay. That's yeah.
So probably beginning of the year we'll have an alpha release. You thinking?
Yeah. So the week between Christmas and New Year, it's day off. It's company shutdown at VMware, so probably have some time to work on that, and even like during some weekends. So I expect by the middle of January probably we will have an alpha release on that. As soon as I can fix, I'm gonna say that from all of the things that are failing, the only one that really concerns me right now is this authentication step. So if I can make it work, even if I can make it work on the bad way of always sending all of the certificates, at least I can say, okay, this can be released as an alpha, and we can ask people to test it.
Okay.
But let's sit down and maybe define even the schedule for the alpha and what we need to fix. I think it's going to be good for us.
I agree, and I know it's a lot of fun. I think we should also, and I can work with you, Ricardo, on writing a blog post about this to get up on Kubernetes IO, the architecture change.
Yeah, but I would like if someone like wanna help you on that and maybe have your name on the blog post. It's gonna be fun for you as well. Don't need to be me, folks.
I mean, it was mostly just to, I'll write it and you put in the technical bits to make sure that it gets done.
Okay, sure. About that,
Awesome.
about this PR as well, I still know that Jintao has some pending reviews on my PR. But so what I want to do, Jintao, is as soon as this is ready, actually ready to review, and in my opinion, I will send that to you, and maybe try to explain all of the changes, like what it's just like movement of files, what you can skip because it's just going to take your time, like all of the generated protobuffers and other things, so we can maybe focus on what's the real architectural change. Okay.
Okay.
I've left a bunch of to-dos on the code as well that I'm gonna pass through all of those to-dos as well. Like, hey, this shouldn't be here. Hey, this global variable, it's really nasty, and other things.
Awesome. Okay. My fun one was showing Ricardo some code snippets. I can now create and update tags. I can both for Ingress NGINX and for the Git tags. I can also create releases. I just need to now curate the release notes, all via Mage. So Mage is a Go replacement for Make. So just thinking through all the logical steps and programming them out. I'm thinking one of the things I might want to do is move our build process into GitHub Actions so we can track that a little easier, and or work with SIG release so that our GitHub action has permissions to pull from, because we need to know the the digest of the image we create. So I think it's still going to be 3 pull requests, because we have to have a pull request to change the tag to kick off the container build. And then we have to do the pull request for Kubernetes IO or k8s.io to put from staging to production. And then the final pull request is all of the release updates. So I think it's still all going to be 3 separate pull requests. And I don't think we can fully automate that yet without getting some changes on how we actually do the build. But we're almost there. The release notes and curating the release notes is the last piece. So I can generate all of those. I can get all of the merge requests and log messages between a current tag and a new tag. And then it's now the last piece is just curating those. So I would say 60% of the way there. And like Ricardo, I've got time off between Christmas and the New Year, and I really want to hammer it out so that we can, in one command, do a full release. And that full release is that last one where it's got all of the release notes changes and everything. But eventually it is just one commit. If we could do not one commit, we can consolidate the build process in GitHub Actions, and then it's just automating the pull request from staging to production once that gets accepted, and then running through it. So still a 3-stage process, but almost there in that final stage of having that fully automated. So that when we get CVE requests, we get all of this other stuff done. Requests come in, it can all be controlled. One of the things I did want to discuss with the team, and I don't have it up, is that I was going to pull everything into and describe the code, describe all of our variables as in a YAML file. Sorry, I'm trying to find it now. I've got, when I open up Golang, it opens up like 30 requests. So what I want to do is a couple things. Let me.
This is why I stopped using Golang. My
Oh, no,
machine
I'm just
wasn't
looking.
enough for that. It's
Oh, yeah, I've got 128 gigs in this machine, and Golang gets 16 when it starts up.
Hey, while you try to find that, so just a comment on this release. I was on SIG Infra yesterday, and I have added this to the agenda. They are really I don't know if everybody knows, but Kubernetes, it's like on short of money for infrastructure. AWS gave some sponsor as well, but we need to be really careful on that. And the majority of the costs, they are image repository and image download and other things, and they have this new project called registry k8s.io that distributes between does this distribution. We are already using registry, but Arno asked me yesterday that even the promotion of staging to production should be using this artifact instead of using Pro and some other changes that we need to do. I I've asked him what's our action item, and he told me, yeah, let's talk next year, but let's try to make this in our radar. They don't want to change this right now, right? But yeah.
Yeah, when we make that pull request, we just give them the digest.
Yeah, but apparently even we have this promotion job. Actually, we have this cloud build job that builds and send
Oh,
to
yeah. It sends
Gogo,
it to the
right? And
registry. Yeah.
yeah, and probably this is gonna change as well. The other thing that I would like to do is maybe take a look into our old Helm charts, if we can do that in that branch and replace everything to registry KTIO and make an announcement. Like, hey, even the Helm charts, we are gonna use the registry KTIO right now, even the old one. So make some commit to the Helm chart index
Oh, you
to
mean back?
use.
Backport
Yeah.
the change to use KXIO on all of
Yeah,
our old Helm.
yeah, because we have a lot of people that still uses the old Helm charts, right? And they are already published as using not using registry. So maybe we
Gotcha.
need to do that and make an announcement saying, hey, people, if you have some security rule in place, please make sure that you are pointing, because Kubernetes is doing that as well. And we are. So I know that the first one is kubeproxy, and we are probably the second one or the third one most downloaded image, right? And probably the bigger one because of mod security. So we need to help them getting
Okay.
this
Yeah,
easier.
that sounds like a fun pull request. Yeah, we'd have to go back through and edit. Oh, that could be fun. That could be fun to automate. Anyway, sorry, I was just thinking through that. What I want to do, what I was getting at is I want to start describing Ingress in one YAML. And really, we can start generating a lot of stuff so that we can change things from here. So I haven't added it yet, but I want to add like the Go version as well that we're running. So that, again, all it is a change. We change this YAML and it will change it across all of the different files that we have. Because in order to do the 119.3 or 119.4 update, we have to go change like 6 files and we have to do it manually. And then we have to rebuild everything as well. All of our images need to be rebuilt with the new controller. So it's, again, it's another large process. We have to change the end-to-end runner to have the new Go version. Then we have to update that. We have to promote it. We have to update it in ours, and then we have to rerun it for all of our new images. So I'd like to drive that again from all of this, and as well as the supported versions, right? So when we have a new version, all of this information can be driven from here. And just removing all of the like the manual things. Because like updating the version support tables manual, updating everything else is manual, so that if we have all of this in a structured format, it can all be automated again. So I'm going to start testing this out once I get the changelog stuff completed as well, so that all of our builds, instead of reading from tag and reading from NGINX base like we did a while back, all of it's going to be described here. And then we can run through and do that. And so then Mage can generate all of the pull requests and everything that we need to do the 119.3 update, or all of the supported matrix versions. Because one of the other ideas I have too is all of our supported versions are in YAML in our GitHub Actions. And if we just generate those GitHub Actions, or generate all of those matrix versions, and we drive it from this file, from this configuration file. Again, we just want to make it faster so that when a new version's available, we can generate and do everything that we need to do. But I think this is just the start of being able to automate everything that we manage from an Ingress perspective. Questions, comments, thoughts? Am I crazy? Okay.
Sounds good.
All of that stuff's going to live in Mage files, and it's all can be documented. It's all going to be documented here. And then we've got all of the steps. So really the process is, what's the step? What's the manual processes? Automate that, and then put it in a list, right? So update the controller tag, update the NGINX version, that's the tag. update the Helm version, which we can already do now, and then continue to do this, create the release notes, commit it, make a pull request, and then create the release. And I'm excited for it. Anyway, so that's where we're at with improving the release process.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I need to really look at this one, the CodeQL stuff. Long's not here today, so I don't know if there's anybody had any chance to talk about this HTTP bin. I keep seeing the comments and questions. It looks like it's passed to someone else. Does anybody
Sure.
have any comments on this one?
Can you open that? I don't remember this one.
It looks like it
I
got
have no idea
passed.
actually what this thing is.
This is one of the ones where it's not supported. It's not been touched in 2 years, so we're moving to a new one. HTTP bin has not been touched. So I think we're moving to like HTTP bun is the
But
new one, or it might have that.
Why we use this thing?
I think it's
What's
part
it
of the
for?
testing framework.
Ah, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the 11 images that's in there.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe it's the external auth stuff. Here we go. HTTP bin not been updated. We're moving to bun.
I
So
will
it's
open this issue here and read it. To be honest, I didn't read this, so
yeah,
what's
it's
the
just
name?
part of that trying to remove things that haven't been updated, and if we need to manage it ourselves, kind of thing.
Okay.
And we don't want to do that, right? We already manage 11 different images. We don't want to add another one.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that Long it's he's focused on the thing that I have asked, getting the tests results on the PRs. I'm not sure if you folks saw that, but it's kind of working at least for one test, and I asked him to take a look into the other ones, and it's really so. Being someone that has been developing this control plane data plane for 6 months and losing the track of which tests are working or not, it's good to have this as part of the result of the run, right? So that's kind of a summary, and it's working fine. I have a last thing. Go ahead, James. You wanna?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I know that Dylan had something he wanted to talk to about.
You wanna go ahead, Dylan? I can speak later.
It's probably going to be quick. I'm pulling up there's a couple of issues that Long put in front of me a while ago that I took back to our product management. It was, let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. 8831, and I lost the other one, of course. Let me go back here real quick. No. Is this the one?
Oh, look at that! It's assigned to Ricardo.
Yeah. So the long and short of this, when I put this, there's two of them. I don't know the other. I have to. Let me look in Slack real quick. I think you gave them to me. It's like 7268 is the other one. And apparently we went through and we did triage on this. It is a known issue for us. And what Brian told me was that they determined that it was an issue with Lua, and then they just stopped looking at it at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the information I got. So I can try to dig for more information about what specifically the issue was, but he said our project doesn't have that problem, not even the free version. It was attributed to Lua and OpenResty. We spent time working with this is one of our customers, so I can't say the name. Working through a random pod issue with the community ingress, and they arrived at Lua and OpenResty issue and then stopped. So,
okay. What's your GitHub username so I can reassign this to you and you can add that.
sure, it should be Dylan Turnbull, no spaces.
Where's that?
Let me see.
That-
With a U, TURNBULL.
with a U. Bull,
Yeah.
not bell.
Yeah, bull. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, if you could drop that information in there,
Okay.
that'd be helpful. Thank you. All
You bet.
right. Yeah, 5 minutes, Ricardo. Go.
Okay, so really quick. Besides all of the control plane data plane split, I have raised some issues, actually some PRs on deprecating pod security policy. Some folks, they are opening issues or PRs saying about the inclusive name for like a block list, allow lists, and we need to keep some consistency because some folks, they open some PRs asking, hey, can I add this new blocking something, whatever, but they put it as a blacklist because we have the whitelist, but we don't have the allow list. So it keeps kind of out of consistency. And the third one, it's one about some discussion that's been happening on if we should keep the regex path in Ingress just as part of implementation specific, and like the path type being exact or prefix just accepting really strict strings, right? And I wanted to fix these things even before making the release of control plane and data plane. First of all, Kubernetes 126 is going to be released today. So pod security policies, they should be gone and in previous clusters, and we need to get rid of that. The second one, it's mostly something that may be a breaking change, but that's an improvement that we need to do about the validation stuff. And the consistency annotations, I think it's going to be something easier to fix, at least like having both annotations, but converting like all of the like white lists to allow lists and so on. So I would like someone to take a look into the deprecation one. I think that the deprecation one needs to be rebased and retested again. I remember Jintao adding some reviews on that. If someone wants to take over on this, please take over on this deprecation. The path prefix, it's going to be something that I will work short term, and the conversions between annotations. If someone can take a look into that, it's not going to be a hard PR to make, but we need to make the whitelist at least be converted to allow list and keep this. We can keep both annotations. But at least keeping some consistency for folks willing to use, like having a block list, we say that we just support block lists and instead of blacklists and so on. So yeah, this is one that I commented. So that's just my ask. Take a look into that. I will try to open an issue on those things because I want our next minor release with breaking changes to contain these changes and we deprecate pod security policies and other things that should be probably deprecated for the next one. I think that's all.
Right on time.
Yeah.
Do we have an open issue for these two?
I will talk to you on Slack.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
If
we
I could
got-
have like 1 minute, did you guys get any chance to look over the agent repo? Or I mean, I know it's brand spanking new and it hasn't been a lot of time, but I figure I would like see if there are any initial thoughts.
I have started to look at that. I was expecting that the agent was something that was going to solve the hot reloads. But right now, by the architecture that I saw, it's mostly something that keeps watching the configurations of like some centralized control plane and keeps configuring NGINX. It's kind of a sidecar, right? So, but by what I saw. So I think for the split control plane and data plane for the midterm, it's going to be cool. Like if we can implement all of the gateway API over that logic instead of re-implementing everything, I think it's going to be useful. But
Okay.
for the hot reloads, I don't think this is the problem that it's solved by that, right? Even if it was announced that it's like it would help to solve that problem, but it doesn't. So
Okay.
yeah, that's
I'll take
that's
that
my
feedback back to
thoughts on that.
Liam and see what they have to say. So,
Probably I missed something on the documentation as well. Maybe like, hey, that's on the docs and you missed that. Usually it happens, but
Okay.
on the hot reload. But yeah, let me know. You can ping me on Slack. That's fine.
will
But
do.
thank you for open sourcing that. Yeah.
Yep.
You are muted, James.
Thanks everyone. We should be good for the next one, our next meeting in 2 weeks. I think
Yeah.
14. No, actually, we might need to cancel our next one for the holiday.
I
So
will
I'll
be
get
on
that.
vacation as well.
Yeah. So I'll get that one canceled, and then our next one will be in the new year. So if I don't talk to you all, Happy New Year, and I'll see you all in January. Thanks.
Yeah, and if I'm blocking someone, please feel free to ping me. Thank you. So Jintao is gonna take one. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to ping me if I'm blocking someone on Slack. I'll do my best to unblock you. I don't want to be the blocker one. I know that I'm blocking some of the open telemetry. So if someone wants to take a look into that and unblock me, and like if anyone like Jintao, Long, you James, you think it's approvable, just go ahead and approve, and we can move forward with that as well.
Okay.
I don't want to be the gatekeeper of those things, please.
Will do. And last bits, I'll open up a Word doc so that we can put together the maintainer track for KeepCon EU. If anyone wants to contribute to that, make sure that we're discussing what we think we should be discussing and giving updates on the project. I haven't gotten the link for that yet till when the submissions are due, but I want to make sure that we're going to talk about what we think we should be talking about and giving updates to the stabilization.
I won't be at this KubeCon, but if someone wants to talk with James, it's fun. So if you are even virtually or in person.
Yeah, I've tentatively accepted that invitation. It'll all depend on whether or not I get funding for the travel expenses. But if I do, then I'll be there to play wingman with James.
Awesome. All right, folks. I think I've got my next one I need to go to. So thank you, everyone.
SIG-Network. See you, folks.
Have a good holiday, guys.